If you've ever thought about buying driveway security bollards and you've gone online, you've probably seen millions of different options that are very confusing. There's folding posts, telescopic bollards. They've all got very similar names and very different prices, and it can be really, really confusing to know what to buy. I'm not going to have a long enough video to go through all the different options, but in this video, I'm just going to talk about our two best-selling manually operated driveway security bollards. So we work with a company called Rhino Security. They're an absolutely brilliant company. They make all of their bollards right here in the UK. We've been working with them for years. In our opinion, they're the very, very best quality, top of the range security bollards that you can buy in the UK. And the good news is that most of their bollards have like the highest level of insurance approval, secure ratings, police accreditations, all that kind of stuff. We sell two of their bollards, the RT-R8. So we most commonly sell two of their bollards. The first one is the RD4, which is sort of the smaller stainless steel. I don't want to call it entry level because it is kind of top of the market, but it's more of our budget friendly option. And then we also sell the really big boy, the RT-R8, which is the heavy duty bollard. So these aren't electric. They don't have any of those fancy features, but I'm going to talk about the kind of key comparisons between the two models in this video, and hopefully that will help you make a decision about what's best for your driveway. So you might be wondering, who's this guy? Why is he talking about driveway security? My name is Flo. I own a company called Wentworth Protection. We're one of the UK's leading driveway security bollard companies. We've helped over 1,000 homeowners in the UK protect their cars against theft, which I think makes me somewhat qualified to give you advice on how to protect your cars. So the first thing I'm going to compare is the actual thickness of the underground unit. So as a reminder, telescopic bollards are installed underground. So anything from this point on is underneath your driveway in concrete, and that's kind of what gives it that crazy, crazy strength. So this unit right here is underground in nearly 900 millimeters of concrete. So it's really, really deep, and that's what gives it that crazy amount of strength. The RD4, which is the stainless steel telescopic unit, is underground in 700 millimeters. So it's still plenty deep. It's just a little bit less deep. And the benefit of that is sometimes you pay less for labor because they don't have to dig a hole that's quite as deep. But both of these units sit really, really deeply underground to give it all that strength. If we're going to compare the heights, this is the RD4. So this is 500 millimeters out of the ground. So it's not massive, but it's nice and visible, nice and powerful. And against most cars, you know, you're obviously not going to be able to drive over this. And the actual diameter of the cylinder here is 79 millimeters. Whereas if you look at the RD8, it is much taller and a lot thicker as well. So this unit here comes out of the ground 670 millimeters and the diameter is 90 millimeters. So this one is a lot thicker and a lot taller than this. But the important thing to mention is that often people confuse the size of this unit with kind of how powerful it is. So they think the bigger and stronger this part is and the more secure the bollard is. That's not necessarily true. Usually what really matters is actually what's underground, and both of these units have a very, very significant amount of their obviously length underneath the ground, and that's what gives it the strength. The main thing here is that you do get a little bit more impact resistance, but what really matters is also the visual deterrence. You know, when you see a really big bollard on someone's driveway versus one which is a little bit smaller, you know, thieves might be a little bit less encouraged to try and steal the car. But to be honest, both of these, we've never ever had a situation where a customer has called us back and said, oh, someone drove over it or smashed it down or cut it down. And we've installed literally thousands of these. So that's the key differences between these two here. This weather is just terrible, man. Horrible. Up next, I just want to discuss the actual weight of the units because it's really important. You know, you're going to be using these every day, so it's important that you know just how heavy they are. The smaller unit here, the RD4, weighs 22 kilos. That's the unit itself, but the lifting weight is only 6 kilos. So you can see here that I'm literally lifting it out with one finger. So it's really easy to use. We have loads of elderly clients, people who don't necessarily want to be lifting heavy things every day. So that's the RD4. It's really not super heavy. Most of the weight sits underground, and that's kind of what gives it the strength. Whereas if you're looking at the R8, which is the heavy duty bollard, it is way heavier. So this is 44 kilos. So I actually struggle to lift that. And the lifting weight itself is 14 kilos. So you can see that if you lift it out, it takes a bit of doing. Now, obviously, if you're pulling from the ground, it's a bit easier than pulling in this awkward position. So for the most part, if you're fit and healthy, you're not going to have any issues. But the reason this one is so heavy is because it has a very thick steel reinforced sleeve that runs down the middle. And obviously, the entire unit is much heavier because there's just much more material there. That does mean that this unit is a little bit more resistant to ram raids, that sort of thing. It's more difficult to cut through. But honestly, we've never, ever had a customer install either one of these issues and have a car stolen. So it really just comes down to your personal preference, in my opinion. opinion. So there's two more key differences that I just want to mention. The R8, the heavy duty bollard, does not come in a stainless steel version. It comes as standard in a powder coated version. So you can choose loads of different colors, and I can put them all up on screen. You can have yellow, red, gray, white, which is great for a lot of people. They like to match it with the color of their driveway or their car or their house. There's loads of options there, but it doesn't come in the stainless steel. Whereas the RD4, the stainless steel option, comes as standard in stainless steel, but we can also provide it in the powder coated option. So you can have all the same colors, you just can't have the R8 in stainless steel. The second key difference is that the R8, the heavy duty bollard, has a gold Sold Secure rating. Sold Secure is an independent testing body which tests anti-theft devices like cameras and locks and bike locks, and it's got the highest level rating, the gold rating with Sold Secure, which some insurance companies look for, but we've had loads of customers get the RD4 installed, the smaller unit, and also get big discounts on their insurance. So it's not like having the Sold Secure guarantees you a discount, but it's also not like not having it means you can't get a discount on your insurance. So those are the two key differences that I do want to point out as well. So then that leaves the question, what bollard is right for you? It really depends. We usually say if you're just looking to get the job done and protect your cars and kind of not spend the most amount of money, going for the RD4 is one of the best bets you can make. So we've installed a huge amount of these. We've never had any customers say their car's been stolen. We've never had really any issues with them. Any issues that do pop up are absolutely minor. The build quality on these is incredible. The stainless steel looks really nice, and it's nice and discreet. A lot of people don't want big, massive bollards on their driveway. And also the daily use with the really light operating weight is fantastic. The upsides of having the heavy duty bollard, we usually say if you drive a 4x4, if you've got, G-Wagon, Range Rover, that sort of thing, it can help to have the bigger unit just to be safe. And also if you are really sort of focused on having the very highest level of protection, then it is worth spending a bit more money just to get the R8 there as well. But they're both fantastic. Both are a great purchasing decision. They're both going to protect your cars against theft. It really just depends on personal preference. Really quickly, I know that what I'm talking about in this video can be quite confusing. We have built an amazing tool on our website where in less than 60 seconds, you can find out exactly how much it would cost to get bollards on your driveway, and we can also make a personalized recommendation just by you telling us what kind of driveway you've got, roughly how wide it is, and what sort of issues you're dealing with. So if you go to wentworthprotection.co.uk/quote and put in your postcode, you can get a price in less than 60 seconds and know exactly where to go from there.